declaration of a climate emergency.
Climate emergency.
Climate emergency.
Climate emergency.
Climate emergencies.
Or a climate emergency.
It's an emergency.
You maybe heard this term in the news or on social media a few times lately. This raises the question, what is a climate emergency?
In the words of the Oxford Dictionary, a climate emergency is a situation in which urgent action is required to reduce or to halt climate change and avoid potentially irreversible environmental damage resulting from it. The reasons why governments declare a climate emergency and admit the existence of global warming and insufficient measures is that by doing so, a government enters a state of emergency, which allows to faster develop measures and enable the use of bigger resources to try to improve human-caused climate change. Additionally, it helps to create a mindset of urgency and shows the public that the climate is a priority to the government.
After now having explained what a climate emergency is and why governments around the world are declaring one, it's not stupid to ask what led to those decisions, or in other words, what is the impact of climate change and what had to happen for governments to react?
The first thing that comes to mind when talking about the impact of climate change is obviously global warming. In the last few years, Earth temperatures raised dramatically, as you can see on this color-coded map of the Earth, which shows the progression of changing global surface temperature from 1880 to 2021. The rising temperature starts a chain reaction which impacts almost every part of Earth's ecosystem and thereby us, humans. As you probably know, sea levels are rising due to more and more glaciers melting. While often this also affects the habitats of various animals by either flooding their home or, like in the case of polar bears, by melting their livelihoods. Others suffer from severe and more frequent drought every year, which combined with the increased heat can cause more frequent wildfires. This obviously also affects humans who live in coastlines or generally near water and in dry areas like India. Furthermore, thus the higher earth temperatures also warm up the ocean's temperature, which directly harms many sea animals. As you notice, climate change affects water in a lot of different ways, either by warming it up and leading to the before-mentioned consequences or by disrupting weather patterns, which leads to extreme weather events like tornadoes, tsunamis, and floods, to name a few. Additionally, thus the disruption of weather patterns also leads to unpredictable water availability, exacerbating water scarcity and contaminating water supplies. To be clear, these were just a few of many examples on how climate change affects almost every aspect in our modern world.
Since the people who are making this video are students all over Europe, we decided to briefly summarize how our countries handle climate change and if they have declared a climate emergency.
We noticed Europe's biggest problem is the increasing temperature, which in turn creates regional season changes. Especially in countries like Finland, where in the south the duration of snow cover is shortened, whereas the very north of Finland is experienced the opposite. Additionally, do countries like Spain, Poland, and Germany suffer from a higher risk of floods due to the before-mentioned weather changes. Keep in mind that there are a lot more ways how climate change is affecting Europe. Although the European Parliament has declared a climate and environmental emergency in Europe and globally, only a few countries within Europe have declared a national climate emergency. The Parliament has also implemented the climate law to force EU members to reach certain goals, such as limiting global warming to not increase above 1.5 Celsius and to reach climate neutrality by 2050.
Knowing what the European Parliament is planning and doing to fight climate change, what can we as individuals do?
Although governments can have a big impact on industries to force them by law to be more climate friendly, we as people also have ways to fight climate change. For some example, what we can do, we asked climate expert Dr. Martina Grudsia-Lander. She explained that by doing many small things like driving less with your car and ride bike instead, we can help to mitigate climate change. In other words, you could say that the fight starts at the individual because when a lot of small things add up together, they create great things.
For more information on what you can do against climate change, head to the Erasmus website.